Hello, I'm Richard Chambers, President and CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors, and this is my continuing series on insights and advice, in which I examine important issues of the day for the internal audit profession. Today, I'm joined by Nancy Haig, published author and sought-after speaker on risk-related topics, and the 2020-2021 chairman of the IIA's North American Board of Directors. In her role as chairman, Nancy provides direction for our strategic plan in North America and oversees its implementation. Nancy's been a member of the IIA since 1994 and has also been an active IIA volunteer and leader. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here to speak with you today.
Each year, the incoming North American chairman is asked to come up with a theme that reflects their experience and the passion for internal audit, and how they hope to advocate for the profession during their term. Nancy, your theme is building a great team, and the current issue of Internal Auditor magazine includes an article in which you write about the steps that chief audit executives should take to ensure their internal audit functions live up to the high standards expected of them. That message couldn't be more meaningful in 2020 as we face a barrage of challenges, including the continuing evolution of our profession, the shocking twin impacts of COVID-19 on our health and economic well-being, and also the advent of remote workplaces and the recently heightened discussion around racial diversity and respect. With so many impacts on their related risks, what does the word team mean to you in the current environment?
Yeah, Richard, the word team to me means internal audit and everyone who's associated with that function. We are the third line. We are held to a very high standard in our organizations. We are responsible to have objectivity, to be independent, to have integrity, to be humble. And all the members of that IIA function are part of that team, held apart, held to high standards.
Great answer there, Nancy. Do you believe diversity in 2020 is where it should be, both in corporate America and in internal audit functions?
When I wrote this article, Richard, as you know, it takes some time to get it published. So I wrote this a little bit ago before some of the issues that have recently come to light. And unfortunately, I believe the answer around diversity is no, it is not where it should be. I think people may have sometimes good intentions. They try to put out a good statement, but sometimes when it comes to actions, we don't see it. I'll just give you one brief example. I think it was last week or the week before, there was Blackout Tuesday. And I saw a company, they put the nice black box out on LinkedIn. I saw their action praised, as leadership. But then within a couple of days later, they put out their new hires who were unfortunately all white in a city that has a population that is over 50% Black. So to me, we see the message, but we don't necessarily see the action.
Nancy, to be sure, there are many regulations around diversity, including protected classes, EEOC rules, and the list goes on. How do you feel those regulations are working out? And what is the responsibility of organizations to step beyond what's just required of them?
Right. Well, obviously, organizations who are contractors or subcontractors for the federal government must comply with laws and regulations and have affirmative action plans. However, for the most part, they may be voluntary in other organizations. And obviously, there are laws and regulations around harassment, discrimination, and protected classes. But we do need to do more. And I think internal audit can play a role there. I think if you are looking for compliance with the programs that you need to comply with, you can either look to your compliance department, see what they're doing, or you can do your own audits. You can also do a lot around harassment and discrimination. You can look at calls to the hotline. You can look at trends. You can look at the consequences of what happened to individuals in the organization. Was it a slap on the wrist for a higher up? Was discipline metered the same way, depending on a person's level in the organization. There are many, many things you can do. We can also do a culture audit. And I want to say, it's important for the organization because diversity brings richness. It brings better results. It should be part of a strategic objective because it's definitely going to have greater results for your organization. It's not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do.
Nancy, as companies and public sector organizations grapple with the serious issues, what is the role of internal audit? Where should we be focusing on efforts today and in the future to ensure those we support are successful?
I really do think we need to look to the culture of the organization. I think this is, in many ways, doing not only what's right, but what's best in the organization. And I think that's one way to really dive in and get to what's actually happening in different parts.
Nancy, I really appreciate you taking time to talk with us. As you point out, your chairman's article is in the current issue of the magazine. We know that you wrote it or you were part of the process to create that article a few months ago, and a lot has happened. So it's great to afford you an opportunity here to kind of update our members, North American members and others around the world on some of your thinking regarding a lot of the issues that are unfolding. I thank you again for your service to the IIA, and thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Richard. I'm looking forward to this coming year and to serve our members. Thank you.
I'm Richard Chambers, President and CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors.